Hello chess lovers, Savon here, and in today's video we are going to take a look at another dramatic game played by the 8th world chess champion Mikhail Tal. Tal is playing with the black pieces and his opponent is Ukrainian chess grandmaster Vladimir Savon. The game dates back to 1970 and was played in Ukrainian city Dnepropetrovsk. Savon opened up with d4 to which Tal answered with knight f6, c4, c5, d5, e6. Tal is going for Benoni defense. A little bit cramped opening, but we have seen many times that this can lead to a sharp battle, especially when on the black side is Mikhail Tal. He can really heat up the position. Usually black is fianchettoing his bishop, yeah, that's something which we see, and then he's going for a queenside expansion, in some cases at the cost of even sacrificing a pawn. Yeah, black has a queenside pawn majority and will try to play on the queen side while white is organizing his game usually in the center. Is going, for example, this e4, e5 for f4, f pawn can support that advance. Let's see how are the events going to unfold. White is at the moment stopping b5 advance, rook e8, bishop f4. In Benoni defense, this pawn can become a target, and at the moment we can see that black can't even develop the knight because can lose that pawn, and there lands knight e4. Opening up the dark squared bishop's diagonal and trying to switch the rook into the game. Other alternatives are knight h5 or h6. Okay, knight e4 is made in the game, takes, knight d2 and rook b4. Tal is going for a very bold rook maneuver, and he has to be careful because in enemy's territory that rook can be trapped. Meanwhile, white is hitting on d6 and h6. Black wants to go for g5. Yeah, Tal is not hurrying to win this pawn and is rather keeping the rook on the forefront. You can't capture on d6 because of rook f4, and if bishop d6 then rook e4 can be unpleasant. Bishop d2 was Savon's answer, and the pawn on b2 drops. Queen c1. And it was in here that Tal made an interesting decision, and he played... What did he play? He played rook takes d2. Looks interesting, right? Queen takes d2, f5. But he's not going to win back the exchange. Tal is just going for an exchange sacrifice, guys. Knight goes back to c3, queen a5. Rook a c1, and finally Tal is expanding on the queen side. He is behind in development and he has to complete the development of queenside pieces. Yeah, otherwise he's like playing with the queen and bishop. He's like giving odds. What are you doing, Mikhail Tal? Queen f4. In return, Savon is making a very aggressive move. He's sacrificing the knight on c3. But let's first finish the game and then I will turn on Stockfish. And now instead of queen b6 protecting this pawn, Tal played b4 and queen takes d6. Savon sacrifices the knight. Precise move, by the way. A very strong move by him. The knight sacrifice was accepted. Queen takes g6. Queen e8 can be a threat. That's why bishop d7, e4. e4 can allow white to switch the bishop into the game in case of f takes e4, or this pawn can even step forward, and there we have it, e5. Queen g4. Of course, the exchange favors black, that's why we have queen b6, and at the moment white has +5 advantage, guys. Can you imagine that? Bishop b5, queen d8 check, king h7, rook e1, queen g5. Again, black is offering the exchange, which was rejected, and now a desperate but interesting decision by Tal. Knight c6. Okay, he's sacrificing the rook on a8. Queen takes a8, knight e5. Tal is switching his knight into the game. He's getting rid of that dangerous pawn. f4, an inaccuracy. But still white has an advantage. The queen is under attack, but Tal played Knight d3, sacrificing the queen, but once the queen sacrifice was accepted, Tal gave a perpetual check and we have a draw. Guys, we have a draw. Okay, my stockfish is on and now we can go through the game. Let's see, is that rook maneuver accurate, by the way? Rook e4, knight d2 and rook b4. Tal is making the top move. Knight e4, h6. h6 is another good move. Bishop d2, rook b2. So far Tal is playing an excellent chess and rook takes d2 again with Angie's precision, you know. But yeah, bishop takes a1 is something which Tal is not choosing. Instead he goes for f5. Knight c3, queen a5. Rook c1, b5. Queen f4. And now what will happen if you go for bishop takes c3? Let's see. Queen d6 and suddenly it turns out that this exposed king is falling victim, right? How to protect this pawn? What if we won't protect it and move the bishop to g7 here? And then there can be this discovered attack and bishop d5 check, for example. Yeah, this is very dangerous. That's why we have b4 by Tal. But yeah, the move is queen b6, sorry. b4 is another mistake. Takes, and now you can see that white is clearly better, guys. White is clearly better. Bishop d7, e4, takes e5. Someone is playing very well so far. Queen b6, bishop b5, check. He could go for queen b7 as well, right? Check here, rook e1, queen g5, queen c8. Of course he's rejecting the offer. Knight c6, and now Tal is starting to heat up the position, mess up everything. The rook sacrifice was accepted. Knight takes e5 and now f4, which is exposing the king. And according to Stockfish, the best move is d6 or even rook takes c3 or h4, for example. Queen d2, then what? Rook cd1, queen b2. Can we make use of this pawn? d6. What if here? And just rook c1. Yeah, then for example white can play bishop d5 and harass black king further, you know. The position still remains complex, but white is winning, yeah. Instead we have f4 and knight d3 by Tal. And now in here there is only one move which allows white to keep the advantage. So Tal brought his opponent to a point that only one move is winning, and that's something which white fails to do, accepts the queen sacrifice. Bishop f1 is the move. You are opening up a luft for your king and there is no perpetual check. And if knight f4, then just d6. c4, for example, d7, yeah. Bishop takes d7, bishop c4, and now queen g8 is coming. This looks really ugly. If check, king h1. Instead, Savon accepted the queen sacrifice and a perpetual check landed. I don't know, guys, I'm not sure. Maybe he was under a time trouble, no information, but yeah, at a critical moment he made a mistake and Tal managed to pull off a draw. Nice game, a razor sharp game by both players, and hope that you enjoyed it. A fighting draw, which I enjoyed. In the entire chess problem, the task is to mate in 2. We'll wait for your answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching, we'll see you in my next video. Take care.